Hey, welcome! So, we're about to jump into a topic that can feel, well, a little huge, Japanese grammar. But I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to see it in a totally new light. Not as a scary wall of rules, but as a really logical set of building blocks. Let's get right into it.
So, be honest. Does the thought of learning Japanese grammar kind of freak you out? Maybe you've heard horror stories about particles and conjugations and all that stuff. You are not alone, for sure. But I'm here to show you that it's way more logical and systematic than you probably think.
Look, the best way to learn this stuff is just to do it, right? So we're not going to sit here and just talk about abstract rules. We are going to build a real Japanese sentence, right now, piece by piece. We'll start super simple and then add layers as we go.
All right, here we go. Your very first sentence. The absolute bedrock, the foundation of countless Japanese sentences, is this simple little pattern you see here. X, Y, des. Seriously, this pattern is your new best friend. Everything starts right here. Okay, so let's really break this down. That little character ha, and this is super important, it's pronounced wa when it's being a topic marker. Think of it like a spotlight. It's telling you, hey, pay attention, this is what we're talking about. So in our example, kore, which just means this, is our topic, and then desu at the very end just makes the whole thing a nice, polite statement. So, これは本です. これは本です literally means, as for this, it is a book. Simple, right?
And get this, want to know how to turn that statement into a question? You don't have to switch words around or anything complicated. You literally just tack on one little sound at the end, ka. So this becomes desu ka. That's it. You've just learned how to ask a question. How easy is that?
Okay, cool. We can state a fact. We can ask a question. But that's a little boring, right? Let's add some detail. Now we're going to get into how you can point to things around you and, add a little color to what you're saying.
Now, this might look like a bunch of words you have to memorize, but it's not. It's actually this beautiful, super logical system. Just think of it like this. Words starting with ko are for things in your bubble, near you. Words starting with so are for things in their bubble, near the person you're talking to. And words starting with a are for stuff that's way over there, far away from both of you. Once you see that pattern, you've just unlocked a huge chunk of vocabulary.
Okay, let's go back to our buddy, our first sentence. See that? We just slot the adjective omoshiroi, which means interesting, right before the noun hon. It just fits right in there. これは面白い本です. And just like that, our sentence has so much more meaning, and we didn't have to break that core structure at all. That's a huge deal in Japanese grammar.
So far, all our sentences have just been sitting there. They describe things, but language is all about action, right? It's about doing stuff. So how do we make our sentences actually do something? Well, that's where verbs and their little helpers, the particles, come in.
I know. The word conjugation sounds terrifying. But for now, let's just forget the fancy term. For a whole bunch of verbs, it's a really simple process. You figure out what kind of verb it is, you do a little snip at the end, and then you stick mas on it. That mas ending is your go-to signal for a polite, I am doing this right now kind of action.
Okay, this right here is my favorite way to think about this. In English, we rely on word order to know who's doing what. But in Japanese, particles do all the heavy lifting. They're like little tags that you stick on words to tell them their exact job. They're literally the GPS for your sentence, telling every word where they go and what to do.
All right, let's meet the big three, the superstars. First, we have o, which is pronounced o. This guy points to the thing that's getting the action. Then there's de. That tells you where the action is happening. And finally, ni can point to where you're going or even a specific moment in time. If you can get a handle on these three, your ability to build sentences is going to go through the roof. And boom, here it is, all put together. Let's walk through it. Toshokan de, the action happens at the library. Honwo, the book is the thing being read. It's the target. And yomimasu, that's our action, to read, in its polite form. We've built a whole active thought. But hey, wait a second. Who's doing the reading? There's no I. In Japanese, if it's obvious from the context, you just leave it out. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, we've got a full-on sentence now. It has an action, a place, a thing. But when did it happen? And how can we link this action to other things we did? It's time to add some of those more sophisticated layers. Remember how easy it was to make a question? Well, guess what? Changing to the past tense is just as simple. That masu ending we just learned,
You just swap it for mashita, mashita. That's it. So our sentence becomes 昨日図書館で本を読みました. 昨日図書館で本を読みました. We add 昨日 for yesterday, and with that one tiny change to the verb, our action is now officially in the past.
Okay, deep breath. Because what we're about to talk about, the T form, is a complete game changer. Calling it a Swiss Army knife is honestly the perfect description. This one single verb form unlocks a crazy number of things you can say, and it's going to make your Japanese sound so much more natural.
I mean, just look at what this one little form can do for you. You can connect actions like I did this and then I did that. You can make polite requests by adding kudasai, you can ask for permission, you can give a reason for something, the list just keeps going. Learning the te form is a massive level up. It's huge.
So everything we've done up to now, that's what you'd call polite Japanese. It's perfect for the classroom or for talking to people you don't know. But what about when you're just hanging out with friends? To really sound natural, you need to know how to switch gears.
This is where the short form comes in. And honestly, it's just the dictionary form of the verb. It's what you use when you're talking with your friends and family. So instead of yomimasu, you just say yomu. That polite mas ending just drops off. This is the real secret between textbook Japanese and how people actually talk.
And you know, once you get the hang of these different forms, you start unlocking, well, it's like unlocking special abilities in a video game. Like the potential form. This is what lets you start talking about what you can do versus what you can't. It's just another layer of richness that lets you express so much more. So, look at that. We literally started with one tiny brick, a simple statement. And by just logically adding one piece after another, we've built the foundation for telling a whole story.
Let's just take a second and look back at what we did. We started with des just to say something is. Then we used kono to point stuff out. Mas brought in the action, and mashita put that action in the past. The incredible T form let us connect ideas, and then the roof form showed us how to speak casually. That is a huge amount of ground to cover.
So please, if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this right here. Japanese grammar isn't some big, scary wall you have to climb. It's a box of Legos. That's it. Each piece has a clear job, and you just learn how to click them together to build whatever you want.
You've got the foundation. You have the first set of tools in your hands. So the real question is, with these building blocks, what are you going to build next? What stories and ideas and conversations are you going to create?